Yeah. We asked Pezz, and he's like, no. Against Mio, I need to try hard, mate. I gotta go for my main race. And I don't blame him. As we are diving into our second series of the night.
I would consider off racing to be tryharding against Mio, but yes, we are going into our second series. It is going to be another PvZ, and we're going to start it on inside and out. Not outside, just out. We're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way to the top right-hand corner. We have a purple Protoss player coming out from the land of around Sydney. From what I remember, he, of course, is going to be representing himself, as he is currently teamless. We have the purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside and Out ESL, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself representing the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Light, I'm glad we're starting with Inside and Out because I noticed something about this map. If you look at the lava, lava.
What are you saying? What are you saying right
now? not larva.
Oh. Oh no!
We got a hatch block from the larva.
I was distracted by the larva. I didn't know what you were saying.
I did mispronounce it the first time.
So, like, look at the larva. The larva. You're like, the larva. Yeah, what do you mean?
No, it's like the larva. No, wait, not larva. Lava. They were like, yes, the larva. So we got a hatch block coming down here from Mio.
We do have a
Not
hatch.
the biggest of deals, but it is a little bit annoying for the Protoss player.
Yeah, definitely a couple of boys are being pulled. It does force the Zealot out of the Protoss player as well, so just here to be a little bit inconvenient, a little bit annoying. Does delay the natural base of Pezz as well. Behind this, MeomaikA, it's not like he's being overly aggressive. He's just droning up. This is just to try and get ahead economically.
Oh!
Ooh.
Barely a second off from canceling that hatchery. Adept is now out, so yeah, he should be able to get the second block this time, but continue to be a little bit annoying, keeping the forces of Pezz back home for as long as he possibly can.
Oh yeah, oh my god, we even see a second gas steal here as well. MeomaikA keeping this drone alive for as long as possible. Eventually, he's gonna have to give up on it though. Again, was this really worth it? Ooh,
or will he? Oh yeah, he does.
What about the lava?
It's worth it. It looks like Gabe's Pizza.
What?
Is what I was gonna say, but it's a
What is Gabe's Pizza?
Burnt.
That's what we were waiting for.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, now the larva has been turned into units, both for mining and attacking.
God damn. I need Vortex to clip that. I need him to.
That entire segment.
Shaking my head.
And then it's like 1 hour later.
Meanwhile, we do see MeomaikA going across the map here with a handful of links. Link speed is about to finish up. Again, just trying to poke and prod here. But I guess what's the most interesting thing is that Pezz did go for a Stargate opener, but he's not going for an Oracle.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the Void Ray is a little bit safer against Ling specifically. You know, you're not reliant on energy. You don't have to, you're not sitting duck if the Oracle does run out of energy. And MeomaikA is aware of that, backs away once he sees that Void Ray.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Lynx are going to get a full surround on both of these Adepts and see if they can get a kill. They're going to try and shade the hell out of here, but they will not make it. Both Adepts go down.
Yeah, the cost of all these Lings, arguably worth it for MeomaikA, but in the end, Pezz still feeling comfortable enough to finish up that third base, still feeling comfortable enough to start saturating it as well.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how this plays out because, one, Pezz followed up with an Oracle, which isn't standard. When you see a Void Ray first, it's usually for a Twilight Council follow-up. So MeomaikA may have skipped out on some Spores, and he kind of did. There's no Spore here at the third, but he has the Spore at the natural and in the main base. So, I mean, MeomaikA should be okay from this aggression. What's crazy is that Pezz is going for a Robo behind this.
Yeah, this is messing me up a little bit. So not only is it an Oracle follow-up from that Void Ray, it's just one Oracle.
Yeah.
Which can't really get too much harassment damage done across the map. On top of that, like you said, he's throwing down a Robo facility behind all of it, so he wants to transition pretty quickly, I imagine. Okay, I was gonna say to disrupt this, but instead of a Robo Bay, he throws down Twilight Council.
Yeah, I'm worried here for Pezz because I feel like he's taking up in a bunch of different directions and he's trying to do like all these flips, and it's really cool, it's really sick. But MeomaikA doesn't care because he's going for a Nidus all in. And because of all of this, like, Pezz doesn't have a lot to work with. He's gonna have vanilla gateway units. He's not gonna have a Twilight Council upgrade because of how late it is. He's not gonna have any Robo units either. He has one Void Ray and one Oracle. Like, it's a little bit all over the place. And oh my god, at least he does find the Nidus.
Or does he? Yes. Even though he does see it, he doesn't have enough firepower to take it out. The Queen's are in position to snipe the Oracle! It lives! But even still, all the Lings are here. Really good force fields coming out from the side of Pezz, but now the sentries are completely out of energy.
Exactly, we saw the Void Ray was sniped out of the sky as well. The Queens are slowly spreading more and more creep. Overcharge is used, and that's going to keep all of this alive for the time being. We do see an Immortal and that Robotics Bay on the way, as you were saying. Like, Disruptors did kind of make sense here, but I don't know if we're ever going to see Disruptors.
Yeah, it might take a little bit too long here from the side of Pezz. He has enough gas, I think, for one. No, not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. The Lings are trying to flood on in. I mean, the really great reduction of surface area here for Pezz with his army movement, but he still will have to give up this third base.
Yeah, plus Queens don't care about surface area.
It's true.
They just shell away from a distance.
Yeah, exactly. And there we go. The Nexus is going to go down. At least the Disruptor will come out, and MeomaikA is going to have a hard time breaking into the natural base. Oh, but does he care? Because he's got a third behind this, he's getting a fourth behind this, and he's even going into a Spire.
Yeah, just to sort of round off his army composition. Where have I seen this before, Light? From MeomaikA.
I mean, this is very similar to what MeomaikA did against Hearthstone at DreamHack Valencia. Very similar indeed. Oh boy, Pezz again caught with his pants down a little bit here. He's trying to harass across the map, but again, I don't know if he's gonna have enough of the mutas. I feel like he may even just have to go for a 2-base all in from here and just hope and pray.
Yeah, I think that's really gonna be his best bet. If he tries to, you know, re-macro up, retake his bases, then MeomaikA is just going to do the exact same and have way too much of an economy to work with. Yeah, decent snipe on one of the Queens, but it was just one Queen in the end.
We have a second Disruptor out, and MeomaikA is notoriously bad against Disruptors. He hates them with a passion. But that's when mutas come into play, right? Mutas can do a great job at sniping them. Blink is about to finish though. You know, we are going to have some anti-air available for Pezz. He's not completely out of this yet.
Yeah, he's going to have a decent amount of anti-air as well. Got plenty of gateways to work with. Not that much gas, though. Not that many resources either. He's retaking the third base, and I fear that this may be what kills him.
Yeah, he is deciding, I'm not going to go for a 2-base all in. I'm not going to try and get like a War Prison behind this and just force the issue. And I kind of respect that, right? Because he believes that he can try and out macro and get out of this. We'll see if he can. We'll see if we get any juicy Novas.
Yeah, kind of difficult to do against Ling specifically, which is why we see Pezz getting a couple of Colossus just to round him out.
True. Yeah, and I guess the name of the game is to just defend as best as possible. The problem is that MeomaikA has an insane economy behind this. Mate, he's got 80 workers essentially. He's working on another base. Like, he can almost do whatever he wants. He is lacking when it comes to upgrades. He's only just now working on 1-1, so there is that, I guess.
Yeah, surprisingly, flyer upgrades are going to finish up before melee or range for him. I kind of like this from MeomaikA. You know, he's setting up his public transport in a way. He's got that Nidus, he's got that Nidus worm right outside his his fifth base. Sorry, I didn't even realize.
Exactly, but at the same
go in between.
At the same time, the army of Pezz tries to move on out. He immediately gets surrounded by all these things. I do think that was an okay trade for Pezz. He didn't lose any high-tech units, but MeomaikA doesn't care because he's remaxing, and there are those mutas.
Yeah, a couple of Stalkers that can take it out there, and you know, Stalkers are arguably a bit more expendable. You know, they're not super high-tech unit, but they are literally his only source of anti-air, aside from sentries. But you know, he doesn't have enough sentries even then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, force fields are going to be king right now, but they don't help against the mutas as they dive on in. Novas are going to be going off, and they do connect with some of the queens, but there's not a lot that shoots up.
Yeah, Disruptors get sniped, the Stalkers get taken out. One Disruptor got sniped, sorry. The Colossus is still alive, but not for too much longer. The War Prism! Doesn't matter if it dies or not, because Pezz calls GG. MeomaikA takes game number 1.
GG, well played. To MeomaikA. Again, a very MeomaikA game. You know, we start off things a little bit crazy with that hatch block into Onidus all in, into mutas. Very nicely done. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, massive shout out to Eurystheus in the chat.
Ooh, oh, is that how it's pronounced?
I believe so. I could be wrong. What were you gonna go for?
I thought it was like Eurystheus something, but now I'm reading it again and I'm like, oh,
yeah, Eurystheus. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no C's in there.
Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you enjoyed your ladder session. Eurystheus, he's a GM North American Terran player. He's great at what he does. He's beautiful. He's amazing. We used to cast him back in the day. Back in Battle of the Americans.
Yeah, I remember. Back when there was also NA Apprentice Cup. Not NA Apprentice, they're just still going on, but NA Apprentice Cup, which was the weekly tournament.
Yeah. It it used to be a big thing, and Eurystheus used to be featured there time and time again. But yeah, it's really cool to see he's still there. He's still streaming pretty consistently. And again, thank you so much for the support.
Yes. And we hope everybody who has come along in the raiding party is having a good time coming in here. I certainly am.
Yes, exactly. As we're just getting set up here with the lobbies, sometimes some confusions can be made since they aren't ladder editions, so you just gotta find the right map.
Yeah. Hint, hint, Blizzard intern. You know. And I'm putting it in. Oh boy.
And as all this has been happening, I also want to give a quick update here. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. Looks like Demi did end up taking down Ranger in the end.
Ooh.
There's a different ZvP going on over on Rotterdam's channel.
Yeah. A lot of ZvPs coming out today, which is kind of to be expected. I think the only Terran player coming in here is Azure, who is currently duking it out in the lower bracket. But not just Debbie versus Starduck going on in Rotterdam's channel right now. In the lower bracket, we have Ranger versus Ender as well.
Oh my god.
There are so many matches going on right now. It's a bit of a shame that we only have 2 streams covering this.
I know. I was like, Ranger versus Ender deserves to be casted. That's such a juicy series, and I hope they have a good time down there. It's going to be a little bit brutal nonetheless. But speaking of brutal, we have our own series to cover.
Yes, speaking of brutal, we're getting Scarface or Tropical. Wait. We're on Tropical Sacrifice. We're over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have a purple Protoss player coming out from the land of Sydney. He's, of course, going to be representing himself, as he is currently teamless. He is the purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice ESL, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself representing the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
Yeah, for those who are, a little bit more unfamiliar with the new maps, unfortunately, there is no lava on Tropical Sacrifice, but there are Ewoks.
There are We can't see them, but they're there.
Yeah, we can kind of see them.
Yeah.
They're just not moving. They stand still, you know. We can't see them.
Exactly. We do have Ewoks all over the place. We do have Moopies, I should say, all over the place. Not quite here. Here.
Yeah, then the oases.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And
And
the lagoons, I guess.
yeah, the lagoons. But what's interesting is that this time Mio opens up standard.
Yeah, has gone for that hatch block. He actually even went for a hatch first. Hatch gas pool, I believe. Or no, hatch. Oh yeah, hatch gas pool. It wasn't hatch pool gas.
Yeah, hatch gas pool opener from MeomaikA. Something that we don't see too often, to be honest. Like a standard opener from him can be a terrifying thing, because that means he's gonna do something a little bit more different later on instead.
Yeah, what kind of... Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, you know, what kind of tricks is he pulling here by opening up standard, you know?
It's terrifying.
What kind of game is he running? Yeah.
It's absolutely terrifying. So we'll see how things kind of turn out here for both of our players. I'm sure Pezz is feeling pretty satisfied. He goes in, he confirms everything is normal. Whew. He can breathe easy, and when it comes to the openers, he can do what he wants. He can play out his game.
Yeah, he can throw down stalkers. He can throw down a robo facility first. Not only is this currently off meta, it was also off meta last season.
Yeah, Robo first is crazy, and MeomaikA tries to get him, but he doesn't see it. He turns around. The Stalker is going to zone him away, and this is a little bit of a tell. Obviously, the Stalker means that usually means that there isn't a Stargate.
Yeah.
It usually means, though, that there's a Twilight Council.
Yeah, Stalker is pretty gas intensive for this stage of the game. It typically indicates that your Protoss opponent is taking up a little bit, not really building any gas-intensive units beyond that. Full wall coming up right now from the side of Pezz as a Robo Bay gets thrown down to complement the Robo facility.
You love to see it, mate. You love to see it. We're going to be seeing some Disruptor drops coming out from Pezz. Something that I haven't seen in quite some time, but yeah, it can be really risky because obviously you have to rely on damage being done. But it could all be worth it in the end, if he gets a juicy Nova off.
Yeah, and we'll see if that happens right now against MeomaikA. I mean, you gotta assume that it's gonna be pretty successful, but does he even have the time to get those disruptors out? Because that's a lot of links coming across the map. That's a Baneling that's about to be finished up.
If the disruptor moves out, I think Pezz just dies.
Yeah.
Because Mio is done droning, he's going for a Bane bust. His Baneliness is hidden in the main base. He's making nothing but links. He's going across the map. He sees the wall, and it looks like Pezz has sniffed something out. He does, because he has an observer across the map. He sees all the links coming. He knows what's happening.
But look at that one gateway, though. It's so exposed, and there's there's a lot of space behind that as well. Or I guess I should say, look at that Stalker.
Pezz is being so bold right now. He's moving out. I like this because MeomaikA's droning. MeomaikA, he saw that Pezz was responding with the wall. He saw all of this. He's like, okay, I'll drone. I won't bust.
Yeah, risk reward coming out right now from Pezz, but it was a calculated risk. Or calculated reward as well. I have to wonder if MeomaikA would actually be successful if he busted now, though.
Yeah, I do. maybe.
Yeah. That's a juicy Nova. One of the first of several, I'm going to be assuming. 5 drones, that's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, very nice start here for Pezz. Behind this, he's going for that Colossi, as you were saying. So no double disruptor. Pezz just wants to make sure he doesn't die to a link flood. So yeah, it's completely understandable. And now things are kind of settling down. MeomaikA does have the worker lead at the moment, but soon Pezz is looking to expand and take that third. Up!
Yeah, the next production is going to be huge. 8 drones go down, just like so.
Oh.
Once again, you know, the worker count has evened out.
That's 13 workers have died to 1 disruptor, man. And Pezz isn't done. He wants more.
He do be zooming with that warp prism, and I'm not convinced this queen is going to be enough to take it out. Thankfully, MeomaikA does respond much quicker this time.
Yeah, exactly. This time, no worker kills. The spore is on fire, though, so he has to be a little bit careful there. But you know what? The disruptor is still alive. There's still no real answer to it. MeomaikA does have a queen in position, though, and oh my god, here we go. Another Nova's going to go up. Oh, a little bit too soon.
Or is it? Yeah. Wasn't quite off cooldown then.
But now it is. Now it is.
Now it is, and there's no reaction coming out here from MeomaikA. 18 drones have gone down. In total, 0 probes.
That's disgusting.
Zero anything.
I just realized I'm looking at the units lost tab, and Pezz has lost literally nothing.
0 resources lost, yeah.
Yeah.
0 resources, 0 units.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? That may change. Here we go. Ling run by. Oh, gonna try and dive on top of these sentries. Ooh, force fields are pretty good, and they do almost wall out these Lings, but barely not enough.
Yeah, it's a very wide ramp. You need a lot of space to cover that.
You know, the Lings are back with a vengeance. They get us around on one of those. Stalker is going to be trying to go for this third base, but you know what? Pezz isn't turning around. He isn't done. He's going across the map now with 2 Colossi. Not a lot of buffer, but he has a prism to reinforce.
Now he's done.
Yeah.
But so is MeomaikA, and I'm not sure if he wants to fight out in the open like this. You know, typically fighting out in the open favors the Zerg player, but with 2 Colossus and not a lot of army, you're gonna have to favor Pezz in almost every scenario here.
Yeah, you have to, mate. Well, I mean, we'll see, because if the splits are good enough, and maybe if the Ravager shots are good enough, the Corrosive Biles do connect, maybe Mio can hold on here. I mean, look at the supplies. He still has plenty to work with. A surprising amount of drones despite losing so many.
Yeah, it's just been remaking that mode, of course.
So
he's spending his money on drones. He's not building army units. Okay, not bad. Only a single Ravager gets taken out. And MeomaikA just collapsing on top of everything, surrounds everything. And despite the fantastically amazing start here from Pezz, MeomaikA takes the W 2-0.
GG. I have to wonder if we saw 6 force fields thrown down at that third base. Yeah. I have to wonder if that was a crucial mistake for Pezz, because that's a lot of energy that you need if you're going for a push like that. You need those force fields. You need to slow down that army and give yourself room to actually connect with your disruptors, because we saw that things happened very quickly there. The army immediately got surrounded. Like, there was just no sentry energy to work with there for Pezz.
Yeah. You want to have that little bit of a buffer, especially in the choke points like that, and just didn't exist there. Arguably, you know, you could argue that, oh, well, MeomaikA had a lot of Ravagers anyway, but still, it would have helped.
Yeah. It definitely would have helped.
Yeah, I guess it just goes to show that, you know, you need a little bit of trigger discipline in a way when it comes to force fields.
Yeah. Sometimes you do. And ooh, just like that, MeomaikA does advance on to the upper bracket finals. Meanwhile, looks like Demi versus Starduck. The winner of that series is going to move on to face MeomaikA, but they are still currently in game number 1 over on Rotterdam's channel. We will be looking to jump in mid-series though, so we can all kind of converge here towards the end.
Yeah. Get in towards the, not quite the qualifying match yet, as again, there is only 1 qualifying match today, and it is going to be that grand finals.
Oh yeah. And yeah, we'll see how things go. I mean, there's no big surprise that MeomaikA moves on. You know, he is the champion of the Oceanic region, and he did really well for himself to represent the region in Valencia. He was there in person. He also qualified for Home Story Cup as well. Can't go to Home Story Cup, but he did qualify regardless, and he wants to go for the trifecta: Valencia, Home Story Cup, and TSL.
Exactly.